Center for Grand Bend. And that could be a partnership with Rotary Club. I've had a couple of chats with Ed Fluter from Rotary, and there is huge interest on pursuing something that'll be long-term. Of course, it won't be short-term, but I'd like to see it identified on there, do something down the road. The other thing, other thing I want to say is safety to me has to be immediate. I don't think you can quibble on crosswalks, on extending sidewalks for pedestrian use. I think that's the type of thing you have to invest in. Community safety is something we shouldn't even be questioning. So that's where the priority should be.
Sure.
So let me just come back through you to Brent. Brent, so how much money do we have available for each of these projects without actually impacting the tax levy? Are you saying that if we did one of these projects, we're going to be impacting the tax levy? Like, because I remember last year we spent a certain amount on each of these areas, and some of those projects are completed, so we have money in reserve, we have a regular transfer to reserves and things like that. So how much do we have? That helps us to limit ourselves.
Well, see, we're not, and that's the problem. We're not, and I anticipated that challenge with this budget. We're not to that point yet. What I need to do is add some, like, some of these projects, some of the lower cost ones may not impact the capital plan at all. But right now we have a capital plan established that have been established for 5 years. What I see probably happening is if we decide to slot some of these in between, say, in the next 5 years, you'll probably see some of those projects be deferred, delayed, eliminated to meet our target.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say this is pre-budget type of planning. I can't give you a sense of what the impact of reserves are going to be yet because we're not sure where to slot these in.
Because it really does change our perspective, doesn't it? Because
it does.
Because like from a business sense of our own, like, I mean, that is a key part of determining whether it is even a priority. You know, do we have the money to do that?
And that's kind of what my intent was, that even if you can just give me a sense of whether it's short, medium, or long, then I put it in, and then I can show you, the next step would be to show you how those prioritizations impact the capital budget, what was planned, and how it impacts our ability to fund. And then you have to have a second consideration of, okay, we've done one look at these projects, here's a second one. Does it really, are we still feeling that, you know, hypothetical project A is still a short-term priority, given the fact that it impacts and delays every project for the next 10 years type of thing. It's a chicken and egg issue, and one of them has to come first here so we can at least get the ball rolling.
I guess once again we have to go back to the discussion we had earlier, which is need, right? Defining what's a need and what's just a want.
Yeah.
And some things are very easily help us to define whether it's a short-term project, whether it's a need we have. So.
And I guess that's kind of the conundrum I'm in this. Based on my opinion is probably different than Councillor Bonisteel, which may be different than Councillor Russell's. And a lot of these projects, some of them are supported by some of our other study work. You know, the community improvement plan talks to crosswalks, and we've had, you know, community groups come forward. But some other things aren't. The trails are in the rec master plan, but again, each of these ones, you know, they can become very sensitive. You know, the Rotary Trail extension was talked about. The Mud Creek Bridge has been talked about. The Lagoon Trail project has been talked about. So is Klondike Trail. And we've got members of the community that are tied to these projects. And you know, I'm sure they're very sensitive to the fact that they got to get slotted in somewhere in that capital plan.
Yeah. It's about balancing and prioritizing.
Yeah.
Mr. Russell.
Yeah, and I think the political thing, I mean, that's a given, right? And we do have our geographical niceties. But the reality here is there's certain things on this list that go to the need that Stephanie's talking about. The need to be safety first is our primary consideration. We've had, before Marty, I was with the Accessibility Committee, and I think we've been looking at this, John, for 5 years now, maybe. I think this is time to put it at the top. It's an issue that we've been saddling sideways, and it adds to the crosswalk idea that I think Brent just talked about. Also the sidewalks. The one in Arcona we talked about, that when in fact it's a safety thing on that one side of the road, isn't that correct? People they don't have access out to the end of the community road?
Yep, it's been asked for, but
is it a safety thing as well?
I would go along more with the proposal here is,
Shoulder.
the shoulder as opposed to a sidewalk.
Right,
And
so
if there's a
like you
reduced
did
cost
with
below even 20 grand, if it's, yeah, that's,
Sort of like what you did in Port Franks along there.
exactly. And I don't think we should jump around the report.
No,
I think we
it's
gotta,
a-
we gotta
it's a
find a way,
safety.
I think we gotta find a way to walk through the report and, I
Do
don't know.
we, okay,
Want to start?
Let's start at the beginning,
do we wanna go through these kind of one at a time?
Yes, absolutely.
And just do a short, medium, or long? I guess each one, if we do the speed radar check sign and put it down at the short term, it may help alleviate some of the other issues with crosswalks by doing speed, so
Yeah,
they could get stretched out a little bit. That's the whole balance that we have to do.
that's right.
Mhm.
So what's council feel, the radar sign, that cost us $7,000, that's not for the trailer that does the,
No, that's not the trailer, this one is,
it's a stationary
yeah,
one
it's
spot.
a stationary, well, we would create it to be semi-portable, so that we can move it around the municipality.
Mhm.
The advantage of this one is it does come with a software program. You can download it into a laptop and it tracks traffic statistics. So they give you the number of cars that have gone by, average speed, and that,
Which, the 7 or the 15?
no, the 7,000. I can talk to the 15,000. The 15,000 one is just a tow behind trailer that you see on the side of the road. My personal recommendation would I would eliminate that because when it comes to, when it came to Lakeview Avenue, we were able to rent portable signs actually fairly economically. And unless we're gonna use this trailer quite a bit, this is a refurbished model for 15,000, a brand new one's $10,000 more than that.
This come up in the discussion, I think it was when they did the fire ban, they talked about we need signs around, so this would be one in one location, it's not gonna really, not gonna do the purpose for the municipality you want. So, Councillor Lonsdale has his hand up first.
Just a quick question on this. Could this be a revenue generator? Could we rent this to neighboring municipalities who might want to do speed traps or speed awareness at particular times of the year? So it's not sitting, say,
The small, like this smaller one's about this, the size of like a typical roadside sign that you'd see. It would be I'd say be for our use only.
okay,
I know some of the other municipalities have the option of getting it from like the OPP or the county, and some places have it.
yeah.
Huron County for sure, the municipalities just book in a time, so we probably have a challenge getting any revenue from them, and they've already got an option for them for free.
Okay.
But the $7,000 one actually, it's a pretty, I don't know, I think it's a pretty slick little sign that, just by buying an extra $500 package, we can get a lot of good data to give the OPP and say, hey, on Ontario Street in Grand Bend, over a long weekend, average speed was 95 kilometers an hour and at 50. How many tickets did you guys enforce?
I like that.
I think
That's good.
that's a good thing that I've been after for years. Councillor McGuire.
Based on that, what you just told us, Brian, is there any chance of going to our partners that were in the community policing group and saying, hey, we see a need for this, do we buy it, share amongst?
That's very much an option we can approach that.
The Lambton Group, the Blue Water Bridges and Point Edward bought a trailer together with the Blue Water Bridge and Point Edwards. That's kept for down there, so if we had one, we could possibly look at sharing it with others. Jumping right ahead.
Yes, Brent. Did I see one of these radar signs for the solar
Yep.
forest at the gas station? So
But I believe that was a trailer one.
That was the trailer one that the OPP has.
So the OPP was just.
This $7,000 one's, you can temporarily fix it to say, a utility pole that's close by, and a lot of small towns have these as they permanently put them up as you drive in no problem areas. But what we thought about internally is we buy the solar power pack with it, so it makes it more portable.
Yeah.
We're not tying it directly into a utility pole. If we thought there's a need to move it to Forest for, say a month, we can move it to Forest. If it needs to go into Port Franks, we can move it into Port Franks.
So I see consensus that we'd like that as one of the priorities for this year. See how you can work on it. The second one at the 15,000, we'll eliminate that for now. We'll put it down long range. The pedestrian signals, I guess if there's grants on that, I was in as a safety issue.